La Fondation McConnell est fière d'appuyer depuis 2019 Blue Metropolis et plus particulièrement le programme d'innovation sociale et les peuples autochtones pour le merveilleux travail that First Nations, Métis, and Inuit writers do. In 2019, UNESCO marks that year, naming it the International Year of Indigenous Languages. Let us make sure that we cherish every year the wonderful words of these people. Bon Festival 2021 virtuel.
Bonjour, je vous souhaite le bienvenue au Festival Metropolis Bleu 2021. Welcome to the 2021 Blue Metropolis Festival. My name is Shelli Pomerantz. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are broadcasting from Tłİchὼ, which is what the Kanien'kehá:ka call Montreal. This place has and continues to be a historical gathering place for many Indigenous peoples, and we're grateful to be part of a long and proud history of creating and sharing stories on these lands. Welcome to this event, the award ceremony for the Blue Metropolis First Peoples Literary Prize, part of Blue Met's spring program. This prize is sponsored by the McConnell Foundation, the Chada Family Foundation, Concordia University, the Zeller Family Foundation, and the Cole Foundation. In fact, the prize we're awarding today is the 2020 Blue Metropolis First Peoples Prize, but since the 2020 festival was canceled due to the pandemic, we're awarding that prize today. I am delighted to announce that the winner is Richard Van Camp. Richard is an internationally renowned storyteller and best-selling author. He was born in Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories and is a member of the Tłİchǫ Dene Nation. Thank you. He now lives in Edmonton, Alberta with his family, and he'll be speaking to us from there today. He's the author of dozens of books, including The Lesser Blessed, a Canadian classic that has been adapted into a feature film. He uses his oral storytelling skills and traditions to braid together pop culture with Tłİchὼ Dene values and Fort Smith grace, particularly in his short story collection, Moccasin Square Gardens, which, by the way, is available from paragraphbooks.com, the festival bookseller. He also has a brand new book. This is a work of nonfiction from the University of Regina Press called, he's going to show it to us, Gather, Richard Van Camp on storytelling. Thanks for that, Richard. Richard, I'd like to thank you on behalf of our Blue Metropolis, I can't really call them festival goers, but attendees. Thank you for your wonderful stories and your inimitable writing style. I'm sure this has been said countless times, but I'm going to say it again. You just pick your characters up and lift them right off the page. And I always feel like they're sitting right next to me, weaving their tales right into my ear. And I personally hope to keep reading your work for many years to come. I would also like to thank the jury members who deliberated long and hard in selecting the writer most deserving of this award, being you. And they are L. Rain Prudhomme Cranford, Smokey Sumac, and David Troyer. And I should mention that you've already received part of your award in the form of a $5,000 check. But I am going to present you with the other half. Or the other part of it, if I could.
You mean there's more money? Oh my God, Shelley, this is the greatest day of my life.
You can sell your trophy maybe and get some money for it, but.
Oh no, I'm going to keep whatever you're about to give me, I will take with my whole heart.
Okay, but I'd just like to say, if this was a Richard Van Camp story, I would be able to pass this right through the screen and you could take it out the other side. There we go.
Oh, Masi Cho, thank you.
Well, I would like to say congratulations from all of us at Blue Met to you in Edmonton, Alberta, and we will send this to you in the mail so that you can put it with all the other awards you have behind you.
It's so beautiful. Masi Cho, thank you, Shelley. Thank you for your kind words. I really want to thank the foundation. I want to thank all the sponsors, the volunteers, all the goers that should be here, but I know we're going to be watching this on Saturday and in the future it's going to be online, but I can't thank you enough for your kind words. Masi Cho, it means the world to me. Can I just say something really quick? Last March, when when the world was turned inside out and everything fell apart, there were probably 4 days where my email situation was cancel, cancel, cancel, cancel, flights canceled, canceled, hotels canceled, canceled, because I've been touring for 25 years, right alongside Rosanna Deerchild. And as a touring artist, this is really how we make our living. And not only was the pandemic growing globally and getting closer to Edmonton, I was terrified on how we were going to make our mortgage payments and pay for our groceries and pay the CRA and the GST that I have to pay every month as a touring artist. And then all of a sudden, I received an email from the Blue Met and the foundation, and they said, and I actually, this morning, I had tears in my eyes thinking about it. They said, congratulations, we know the world is never going to be the same again, but we just wanted to let you know that your body of work in Moccasin Square Gardens has just won this $5,000 award. And that's what I held on to. Never mind the body of work, never mind, everything else. And they said, usually we would present it in person, but because of the pandemic, why don't we just send you the money right now? And I can't tell you what that meant to me. When Tim, the mailman, showed up with an envelope from the Blue Met Foundation, I just about wept openly in his arms because I was so grateful. So I'm so grateful. It's always wonderful to receive kind words and an award and accolades. And I really appreciate your support, because yours was one of the beacons that carried me through, because as you know, money can buy time. Money, if you've got the money, you don't have to hustle. And this award actually allowed me to relax in March and April and really focus on what was most important. And that was our family, our home, and just buying time to make sense of the world. So I'm so grateful to you. And on behalf of my family and my publishers, I thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Masicho, thank you.
You're very welcome. On behalf of Blue Metropolis, you are very welcome, but you're also very deserving of this award.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass things over to Rosanna Deerchild, who's going to have a conversation with you in just a minute, but I'd like to introduce Rosanna first. Rosanna Deerchild has been storytelling for more than 20 years, most recently as the host of CBC Radio 1's Unreserved. Many of us have listened to that show many times. And now she's developing a podcast series for CBC Books based on the Indigenous graphic novel anthology titled This Place. So we can look forward to that. Oh, everybody's got their book covers. I have to bring, do you have Moccasin Square Gardens there, Richard? I forgot my copy. Oh, there. Thank you,
Rosanna has it. Masicho Rosanna. All my
Ready.
cousins came and stole my copies.
I know. I hate when they do that. I kept up to buying my own book.
I'm going to be talking about Moccasin Square Gardens with my, I lead a book club at a local library here, and that's next week. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Masicho. Hi, Rosanna.
Hi, cousin.
Rosanna's introduction. Hold on. A veteran broadcaster, Rosanna is also an award-winning author and poet. Let's give her due here. Her most recent book, Calling Down the Sky, is her mother's residential school survivor story. And welcome to you, Rosanna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and for inviting me to talk to the amazing RVC. He's like Cher. He doesn't even need a name. He just goes by his initials.
I'll
Sure,
leave
there's a
you
dance.
to it now. Enjoy yourselves. I'll come back at the end.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you, Shelley. Well, hey, cousin, congratulations on winning the Blue
Masicho.
Metropolis First People's Prize. Ever
Masicho,
good,
thank
you?
Yep. Thank you. I'll take it. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. It means the
Yeah.
world to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have you been through all of this?
Oh, no, honey. That's my first question. I was just about to
Oh,
say that you
I thought we were
spoke
going to
some.
visit. I just want to
Oh
visit.
yeah,
with
for
you.
sure. Let's
It's
visit.
been
But
too
first,
long.
I gotta ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm the one asking the questions here,
I don't want to be
buddy.
difficult. I'm trying to be a better person.
And you
I'm
talked
sorry.
about how difficult this year has been, this COVID pandemic, the the insanity of this year, and things are never going to be the same. So how has it been for you? How have you been? What have you been doing? And how have you been doing during this past year?
Well, first of all, I just really want to acknowledge the terror that we've all been living with. I think we're carrying a weight we don't even realize, and it comes out every once in a while when things fall
Mm.
apart or you get even more bad news when there's been a passing community or an accident. So, we're so lucky, and I just want to say a huge masi cho to everyone joining us. I want to say a danate, sagya masi. My friends, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm from Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, Treaty 8 country, and I live in Edmonton, Alberta with my wife, Kiwi, and our little boy, Adzazi, in Treaty 6 country. And this year has certainly fortified for us the importance of home and family and good cooking and wind speaker radio every single day in the crock pot in our yard and King Edward and the Ravine. We joined the Sherwood Park Archery Club. So we're out every Saturday shooting our little bows and our arrows and going for family walks. We also got a fire pit for our front yard, and we ordered a bunch of wood. And that has been our sanity. And I think the greatest teachings this past year have really been that the answers and the peace and the solace and the comfort that we all need and deserve and are looking for are really to be found outside. I think outside has given us more medicine than we ever realized. And I go for walks every day now, half an hour at least. The moon is out tonight. I don't think I've ever been more in touch with Edmonton, and I certainly have not been more in touch with our community and our neighbors here. It's not uncommon to have people, sitting on our fence as we every morning have coffee outside. People want to visit because we're all looking to be heard and seen and validated and comforted. And I think that we've really carried each other. And I think that this year has really reminded us about maybe the things we were taking for granted. And I think, Rosanna, I'm really, when I look back at where I was a year ago before the pandemic, I was hopping on a plane 2 or 3 times a month. And I can't imagine what that did for my wife, Kiwi, or our little boy, Adzazi, who was 5 then. I can't imagine ever going back to that ever again. And I've been embracing the technology in this past year. I started a SoundCloud account and a YouTube channel, not for myself, but to upload family videos, elder videos. I found the video of my grandmother singing Tłİchło love song. I had been looking for this video for years. So if anybody wants to see it, just go Richard Van Camp YouTube. You'll see my grandma, my Etsy, Melanie Washi, singing, cracking jokes in Tłİchło Dene and singing the most beautiful love song. And I've uploaded my uncle's love song, my Uncle Eddie, and I uploaded my interviews with elders. So everything I've wanted to do for the last 20 years, I've found a way to do it electronically. And, I've been picking up the phone a lot more. I've been reconnecting with old friends, comforting each other, getting people to laugh, just really enjoying every single day. And we're so lucky because our boy Adzazi, he's going to be 7 next month. He really is the light of our life. They say children pull you onto the dance floor of life. It is true, absolutely. My wife and I, we're so close now. We're a much stronger team because she's not doing it all by herself all the time. So when I get up at 4 o'clock, I write till 6:30. And as soon as they get up, mommy gets tea in bed. I bring ice water to my son, and then I cook, and then I clean, and I love it because I'm a Virgo, and it gives me a sense of well-being. So we've been doing fine, but I think the greatest gift of all through all of this is there's a whole lot that we can't control besides wearing a mask and social distancing and washing your hands.
Mhm.
But if you approach every day in the ceremony of gratitude, so grateful for all you have and acknowledging we don't really need anything else other than, of course, healthy groceries and electricity, etc. The basics. We don't actually need a lot to be happy. And I'm so
Mm.
grateful now that the touring I do is all on Zoom, so I can do a keynote like yourself, and then I can go and make lunch for the whole family. And the rest of the day is I don't have to hop on a plane anymore. There's no cab rides at 4 in the morning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no missed flights. There's no canceled flights. I don't think any of us ever have to go back unless you want to, right?
Mm-mm.
You don't have to go back to the insanity of how fast we were all living before. So I really want to acknowledge what everybody's been going through. It has been tough globally and locally, but at the same time, the Van Camp house here in Edmonton is really a house of laughter, music, books, stories. We're homeschooling our little boys in forest school. That means we're in forest school. I am grateful every single day. And I think there's medicine in that.
Yeah.
I think there's medicine that comes with just being grateful and wanting the best for everybody. Also, if I could just say, everybody on our street up and down is getting their first shot. So I feel like this anthem, this human anthem is growing every day, and it's joyous and it's contagious because I got my first shot. Did you get your first shot?
Got my first shot.
I got my first shot.
Mhm.
So, cousin, we're almost bionic. Do you know
We
what I
are
mean?
almost bionic.
Yeah, and it's just like this party that's gonna grow. And if ever there was a time where science really showed, and what humanity has shown us this last year, when we work together and we focus globally for a solution, there's medicine in that too. Like we can never
Mhm.
go back to not helping each other ever again.
Right, right. Well, let's
I'm
hope that we
grateful.
don't, right? Go back to not helping
Yes, well, we need
others.
each other more than ever. We
Yeah.
really do, because what happens there certainly happens here,
Hmm. Hmm.
et cetera, et cetera.
Well, you talk a lot about being grateful and finding the joy in the situation, and you certainly are, are are a master at that, not only in your life but as in your storytelling as well. Which I just love this book, Moccasin Square Gardens, your collection of short stories about people of Denenda. Denenda, is that how you say it?
You're
Denenda?
close. Den and Day. Den and Day. Den and
Denende,
Day.
home of
Land
the
of the
Tłİchło.
people. Den and
Yes.
Day. Yeah.
So in these 10 stories, we'll read about in-laws, outlaws, common laws, shamans, time traveling warrior goddesses, and man babies. Man
Wow.
babies. Ah, man, I just love this book, bro. It's so beautiful. It's so
Thank you.
beautiful. And of course, there's always some, bit of truth that you weave in about your own life, maybe your own family's stories. So how much of yourself made it in this collection?
I think all of it. So
Mm.
I just want to give the everyone who's joining us. So Moccasin Square Gardens, I think, was my 24th book, and it was actually my second book with Douglas and McIntyre. So Douglas and McIntyre published me in 1996 with The Lesser Blessed. So that was 23, 24 years ago. My editor for The Lesser Blessed was Barbara Pulling, and I have the original manuscript downstairs. And Barbara Pulling laid the boots to me when I was 23 years old as an emerging author. And thank goodness she did, because she's the one, it's really our editors, Rosanna, that make us great writers, right? That's the truth. So imagine my surprise 23 years later when I finally wrote Moccasin Square Gardens, and Douglas and McIntyre got in touch with me and said, "Hey, do you have anything new? What are you working on?" And I said, "I actually have just written the funniest collection of all my short story collections, called Moccasin Square Gardens." And Anna O'Keefe, our publisher, said, "Well, how'd you like to work with Barbara Pulling again 23 years later?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I couldn't have written Moccasin Square Gardens. We couldn't have created the magic in this collection had it not been for Barbara Pulling and Cheryl Cohen. They were my editors. They laid the boots to me for over a year, and they really helped me hone and bring out the humor and the celebration. So I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to Douglas and McIntyre, to Anna Comfort O'Keefe, my publisher, and my auntie Tessa did the cover. Isn't that beautiful? Tessa McIntosh did the cover, so I'm so grateful. It's the funniest collection. I think it's a collection that isn't laced with darkness. When you think about Angel Wing Splash Pattern, which turns 20 this year, and you think about The Moon and Letting Go and Godless but Loyal to Heaven and Night Moves, when you think about my short story collections, they're dark, right? They're ferocious, right? And they're gothic, which I love. But with Moccasin Square Gardens, I realized I've done the darkness. You know what I mean? I've submerged my characters in so many seasons of terror and pain, right? And it's great storytelling. It's wicked storytelling. I have no regrets. But with Moccasin Square Gardens, just like the title, I wanted to dance. I wanted to play. I wanted to sing. I wanted to flirt. I wanted to show how gorgeous we are in the Northwest Territories and how resilient we are. So that's what you were picking up on. That it was just, I felt like I shed a major skin. I let a cape made out of moth wings fall. And I said, okay, what do we really want to do here? Let's have some fun. And that's
Yeah.
what Moccasin Square, and I think that's what the readers are picking up on, because, Indigenous literature has come through such incredible darkness, as it needed to be. But you're noticing now with Tennille Campbell and Don Dumont and Drew Hayden Taylor, there's a dancing, there's a celebration that's happening. And I'm excited. I can't wait to see where Indigenous literature is going next. I'm really excited.
Me too, as well. It's just amazing watching the waves of these beautiful stories coming in, coming more and getting higher and getting more beautiful and being laced with darkness, but also with light. And it's so exciting. And this book is so hilarious. Like laugh out loud, snort, tears, gut hurting, can't breathe anymore, breathing is difficult, funny stories.
Bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
I read the story about the tug of war chief out
Yep.
loud at
Super
the
Indians.
beach. Yeah, the super. And to my friends, I was reading them out loud, and there was a guy next to us who was sunbathing and reading his own book, but he actually stopped, put his book down, and listened to me read this story, and then laughed along with us.
Thank you. That's
So
the ultimate compliment.
it's a real joy that everybody feels when reading a Richard Van Camp story. How do you get so much joy into your stories? Where do you find
Again, it
this?
it comes down to gratitude. When you think about, my mom beat breast cancer, Rosa Washi, years ago, and for me to text my mom this morning and say, "Good morning, Mom, I love you," right? For me to have married the love of my life, Kiwi Martin, for us to have the most wonderful little boy in the world, Idzazi Inusulk Washi Van Camp, to, we were cuddling this morning as we were homeschooling. And for me to get the pinky promise from him as we're doing his math, I can't tell you, as a father and as a husband and as a son and as a brother, just how happy I am, and I can't do anything without my family. I can't do anything without my friends. I can't do anything without Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, and to all my phone calls home. This morning I called my auntie Marlene Evans, and I can't do it without her. I can't do it without my community and my teachings. I just got off the phone with Rosa Mantla, my Tłİchło auntie, and she was setting me straight on my new novel. I got a new novel called Beast that I'm working on. It's a working title, but apparently I've been saying the main character's name all wrong for 4 years, and she's going to set me straight. So
Oops.
anyways, I'm going to call her back tomorrow. No, it's good. I need, I've got a lot of energy. You and I have shared the stage several times, right? I like to end in the splits. So I wake up in a handstand every day, and I need my aunties to keep me on the red road, on the straight and narrow, and to keep me humble. And that's what great editors do. That's what great publishers do. And that's what community does. So I'm just so grateful. But again, I can't do what I do without family, friends, community, and where I'm from.
Yeah. And those are all very important ingredients to a grateful and successful life, whoever you are. But it wouldn't be a Richard Van Camp book without something horrifying happening smack
Yes.
dab in the middle of it.
Yes. You're talking about the Week to Go.
The Week to Go 1 and Week to Go 2 had me wondering, brah, are you okay? It's so dark
I'm great. I'm
and
great, but
so
humanity is
terrifying.
in big trouble. Yeah.
Yes. So what were you trying
Yes.
to what were you hoping to leave with the reader with those stories?
Well, the stories you're referring to is We to Go War 1 and We to Go War 2. So we have We to Go 1 is called Lying in Bed Together, and We to Go War 2 is called Summoners.
Summoners, yeah.
The Summoners, yes. So I've been working on a bunch of We to Go War short stories. They're in all of my short story collections, starting with The Moon of Letting Go and Godless but Loyal to Heaven and Night Moves, and it's been growing. And to me, the We to Go represent greed. And of course, it's a terrifying concept. But the Northwest Territories was visited by a We to Go a long time ago, and I'll be talking about that in my graphic novel. I've got a graphic novel coming out with Renegade Arts Entertainment, and my publisher Alexander Finbo and I are editing it right now, and we're working with my favorite artist, Mr. Christopher Shy, right now, and I can't wait for you to see it because I love great horror. I don't know, like, when we were growing up in the North, we had access to the movie channel and HBO and the new TN. Remember being 11 watching The Shining, or being 12 and watching Cujo? And then there was Freddy, and then Sleepaway Camp, and then there was Jason. And I mean, we grew up terrified, horror. None of us wanted to go camping, right? Never mind the goat man, right? so I think I was fueled by terror growing up. And so these stories are really about what happens when humanity's greed digs up the Wheatago that were buried and dismantled a long time ago. And that's what you're referring to. And I can't wait for you to see our graphic novels that we're working on. The movie we're working on with Amanda Spotted Fawn called Wheatago War. It's stop motion with puppets, and it's
Oh,
very dark,
wow.
again, very scary. So and I learned this from Katarina Wenzi Dam when she published Angel Wing Splash Pattern with Kegadon's Press 20 years ago. She said that a collection of short stories should really be a garden where you're not repeating themes. There should be something for everybody, a little bit of the sensual, a little bit of the humorous, a whole lot of mystery, and a little bit of terror. And I never forgot that. And so that's what I wanted with Moccasin Square Gardens, that you pick it up. And if you don't want to read the Wheatago stories, you don't have to. You can laugh with super Indians and man babies and at sea grandpa. If you want to cry, read the last poem.
Oh, such a beautiful story. I wept. Oh gosh, giving me all
Thank
the
you.
feelers.
Thanks. Well, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Every book that we do, we want. It's all I am and it's all I have. And every time you get the book and you understand why authors weep, because it's unreal to think how hard the focus that you have when you're editing, the person you become when you're editing, the person you need to be when you're editing, because it's not about you, it's about the craft and it's about the story. It's really honoring where you're from and the best kind of writing that you want to do. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And craft, let's dig a little into that, because I love the
Sure.
way that you write a story, that you don't tell the reader absolutely everything, over explain things like in the Week to Go stories, you left people to fill in the blanks between these two stories. And also I'm thinking of I Am Filled with a Trembling Light. It has some
Mhm.
darkness to it, but such a satisfying ending. Like, oh, I had to read it twice because I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this ending. So how do you know what to show and tell and what to leave out for people to make up their own minds about?
Well, I think with my short story collections and my adult literature, I always write from a place of heartbreak.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Maybe you're the same with your poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wrote I Am Filled with a Trembling Light, we did have an RCMP officer in the Northwest Territories who was molesting children. And so I think to myself, that devastates me, that hurts my heart, it horrifies me. And then I think one thing they don't teach you in creative writing school, whether it's at the Inalkin Center or UVic, where I got my undergrad in creative writing, or UBC, where I got my master's in creative writing, they don't come out and say you should be writing from the spirit of revenge. That's the best part of being a writer, is that when something breaks your heart, you have the power to say, well, who can I enlist to extract a little bit of revenge and fix this and fix it forever? So this I Am Filled with a Trembling Light was my stab at revenge to this officer who molested these children.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Super Indians, you think about all the leaders who have milked the system for 40 years, and at their retirement party, if you just get them alone at the buffet table and you say, but what did you do?
Mm.
Like, yeah, congratulations, you had a condo at Minto Place in Ottawa for 40 years, and congratulations, you got the nicest house in our community and a spending account. But what did you really do? If a leader can't answer you honestly, then you've got a situation where you have a fence rider and you got a lazy leader. You know what I mean? And so Super Indians, as funny as it is really based on the leaders who milked the system
Mm.
and fence rode their way all the way to their pension. So this is my take, Dene Cho's take on revenge and making a buffoon about our laser leaders. We're not talking about indigenous, we're talking globally, right?
Yeah.
And man babies, right? As funny as it is, there's a whole lot of 29-year-old men who don't know how to cook, clean, fend for themselves, make their own money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I think about that, that hurts my heart because they're robbing themselves of what it means to be responsible and take responsibility for your life. So that was my kick at the can at poking a little bit of fun. And you'll see in my acknowledgments, I say, this is for all the man babies out there. You know who you are, and so do we. And so do we. If your mom's apologizing for you at the Northern lineup, right? Maybe it's time to make some positive, make good choices. Do you know what I mean? You know what the aunties say? Make good choices. I can't watch you 247. Make good choice. Those are your teeth. Make good choices,
If you
right?
haven't seen the sun in 3 days, you
If
might
you're
be
a
a
big
man baby.
you're a big Xbox guy and you're gaunch in your hockey socks. Congratulations. The rest of us are out having a wonderful time
Yes.
and cooking and laughing and being a part of something and honoring our communities and our families and future generations. Get in the dance because it's a beautiful dance, right? I've always said we are all children in the same glorious storm. Get in here with us. We need you healthy and strong and earning, cousin.
That's right, cousin. That's
That's right.
absolutely
Just like
beautiful.
my dad, Jack Van Camp, used to say, "What's the golden rule?" When we'd come home crying, he'd be like, "What's the golden rule?" Be like, "Whoever has the gold makes the rules." Right? Come in here and start making some rules for yourself and lead by example because it's a beautiful life. It really, truly is a beautiful life.
Mm-hmm. Now you have a new book out, as we mentioned earlier, called
Mhm,
Gather, Richard Van Camp on the Joy of Storytelling. There it is, right there.
mhm.
Get your copy today.
Just
And
arrived.
now this is a nonfiction book, stories from celebrated writers, elders, and other storytellers, as well as advice from you about storytelling.
Mhm.
Um, and why it might be as important as ever right now. Why do you think that storytelling is more important than ever?
Well, I think we're all craving community
Mm,
and we're all craving validation. And I
mm,
think that storytellers remind the world that all storms pass. And a good story can get you laughing, can get you thinking, maybe a little life lesson in there that you might want to think about, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it was Bruce Walsh saw me a number of times giving keynotes, and he was the publisher at U of R back then, University of
mhm,
Regina Press. And he said, "Hey, we've got a new series. It's Writers on Writing. But I want you to do something a little different. I want you to talk about the craft of storytelling. How do you become a better storyteller? And you've been passing around these 24 elder stories that you recorded when you were a handy bus driver back in Fort Smith in 1991, 1992. You've been passing out Tracking Heaven for free for years. Why don't
mhm.
you pick the best elder stories in there and we'll weave that in a narrative to really honor the reader?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So it took me 4 years. This is 4 years. So this is my 25th book in 25 years. It's just arrived. We're
Mm,
really proud of it because I've been so lucky to interview elders in our community, but also elders and storytellers right across Canada. So I've interviewed elders who have passed away and have come back and who talk about what they saw on the other side. I've interviewed,
mm,
Anna Tenasket, whose life was saved by the little people. I
mm,
interviewed Pauline Clark, who sadly lost her brother in a hunting accident, and several months later received a package filled with a dozen roses from someone with the same name as her late brother. And there's a miracle story. And here in Thompson
wow.
Highway opens the collection with a story. He fell down a flight of stairs, and he just happened to hit the stage and the stairs at a specific angle. So he actually flipped and was going to land on his neck. And
Mm,
it was a huge flight of stairs. And he ended up, in the air thinking, this is it.
yeah.
But he was caught by four angels and
Yep.
he was put down gently. And one of those angels was his late brother. So for me to get Thompson Highway's blessing, for me to get permission to open the book, because what I wanted Gather to be is I wanted you to be welcomed into a cathedral of stories, a cathedral of miracles, and a palace of hope. And I think that's what great
That's
storytelling
beautiful.
does. It gives you hope.
That's beautiful. And if you could give one piece of advice to somebody in terms of how to start storytelling, what's the one thing you want to remember when you're storytelling?
Well, I think storytelling is contagious. I think that it's in all of us. And I think that all you got to do is show up and tell a great story. And of course, read the room, right? Read the room. There are some people who maybe don't want to hear stories of spirit just yet. So there's a technique called fishing where you start with a nice little gossipy something. And then, they like it. You show up the next day, tell them something a little juicier. They like it. And then hit them with a beautiful story about, fill in the blank that's filled with spirit. And by this point, I think people start to understand this person has a good heart. This person believes in miracles. And you know what? I'm starting to believe this person with their passion. I want to believe that the world is as beautiful as they see it. That's what I'm finding. And I'll give you an example. The other day, we had our neighbor Sally and her boys in the yard, and the boys were playing. They're our cohort family, and Sally and Alex and Simon were here, and the boys had their masks on. Our boy had his mask on. Everyone's doing their best with the social distance. And then our neighbor Greg, who started Oho Coffee, since the pandemic, he started roasting his own coffee beans. He came over because he could hear us laughing, and we ended up talking for half an hour. And I said, and we were just telling stories. And I said, you know what? A year ago today, we wouldn't have done this. I said, Greg, you were racing down the alley at 6:30 every morning trying to catch a bus. Sally, you were plugged into your computer and the boys were off to school. Look at the community and the family we have become because of this pandemic, and also because of the stories we risked sharing about our lives. Now we can celebrate each other.
Lovely. That's a beautiful story. And you're a beautiful story. I love you, man.
Oh, I love you too. Masi Cho, all the best to you and to your family and to your mommy. I'm so grateful we got you up to Yellowknife for the Northwoods Writers Festival. Remember when you spoke at the last round table on reconciliation? You spoke such Tapway truth that I shut her down. I was the MC, and you closed the show with absolute truth and beauty. And I really wanted to acknowledge you and thank you for uniting this country with your radio show. I noticed that everyone was listening. Everyone I knew was listening to your words and your hard work, Rosanna. Masi Cho to you. I raise my hands with utmost respect to you. You've always been there. You and I have been touring for 25 years together. It's true. It's absolutely true. And I see you as you're getting up there with Tantu and Lee Miracle and Jeanette Armstrong.
Good company.
You're in good company. You're becoming an auntie of Canada. You're becoming one of the
hopefully I'm still a favorite cousin, but
you'll always be
heading into
favorite
the
cousin.
auntie zone, yes.
Yes. But it's lovely to see you prosper. It's lovely to see you in abundance. And you're doing what you were born to do. I can tell, I can see it. I always know when I meet people who are on the right path, their path of light, and you're doing it, and you're sharing your light with others.
As are you. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, Richard.
My pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. I'm going to hand back the Zoom to Shelley, who will tell us important things, I'm sure.
Masi Cho. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. That was really fun to listen to. Scary too, a little bit there with those we to go. But I loved man babies. I love aliens, man babies, super Indians. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you so much, Rosanna. Again, congratulations to you, Richard, winner of the 2020 Blue Metropolis First Peoples Literary Prize, awarded in 2021 for obvious reasons. Actually, when you were talking at the beginning about staying home, the difference between being on the road all the time, I was listening to an interview, well, actually not an interview, but a talk by the British writer Ian McEwan yesterday. And he was saying that in 2019, sorry, not 1990, in 2019, he was on the road from February to November, virtually nonstop. He never stayed home for more than a week in England. And at one point he turned to his wife, I guess it was in November, and said, you know, in 2020, I'm planning to stay home. And then he said, be careful what you wish for. But it's true.
I'm grateful I stayed home. I'm
There are
grateful.
some
We've never
wonderful things.
been a stronger family. I'm grateful.
So I would like to remind our audience that Richard's, well, his latest collection of short stories, I ran upstairs to get it, is here, Moccasin Square Gardens, incredibly entertaining, and his new book, Gather. And I know Paragraph Books has Moccasin Square Gardens, and they're probably rushing right now to make sure they have Gather, Richard Van Camp on storytelling. So that's available from paragraphbooks.com. I'd like to thank our audience, and of course you, Richard, and Rosanna, for joining us for this Blue Metropolis International Literary Festival event. If people would like to check out other events, please go to bluemetropolis.org/festival 2021, or in French, metropolisbleu.org. I still can't remember how to say /festival 2021. Richard, do you want to have a last word?
I'm just so grateful. Thank you for this huge honor. I will carry this in my heart forever. I accept this award on behalf of my family and my publishers, my editors, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much. The light that you gave me in March by letting me know that we received the award, and sending the cash in April, I remember tears in my eyes, absolute gratitude. I will always be grateful to you for your support, and this means the world to me, and I can't wait to receive that award. I will put it high next to my Millennium Falcon because it looks really cool, and I'm just so grateful and humbled. And Masicho, thank you, Rosanna. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, everybody. Masicho, I'm grateful.
I just like to say, I had tears in my eyes too reading your stories, but those were from laughing so hard. Thank you both.
Masicho.
Take care.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.